Welcome to Miller Park in Milwaukee on a Monday night. It's game one between the Houston Astros and Milwaukee Brewers as the long 9-game homestand continues. This is the final series for the Brew Crew, and they're trying to make some hay behind their starting pitcher tonight. Zack Greinke pitched 7 strong innings in his last start, but a no decision against the Dodgers. He'll oppose the young Lucas Harrell, making a splash in his first season as a big league starter. Nice numbers, a 1-0 record and a 2.55 ERA. Welcome back to the broadcast as we get you set for game one. Want to catch you up on some significant numbers for the Brew Crew, and maybe for the offense, this is the perfect team to come to town in Houston. Right now, Milwaukee has a 9-game win streak dating back to a year ago against this Houston club. They have outscored them 57-18 during that stretch. How about the combo of Ramirez and Braun against Houston? Incredible numbers, 62 home runs and nearly 200 RBIs between these two sluggers in that order. Zack Greinke, 17 home starts, 17 wins for the Brew Crew. Amazing when he wears the home uniform. This team has success. Up next, we'll take a look at some fresh faces off to great starts in their first seasons with Milwaukee. It's Gonzalez and Gamble. BA and Rock have that story when we come back.
It is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Same building, new team here tonight. The homestand continues. The Houston Astros in town. Matt Gamble, a career 300 hitter in the minor leagues. He's making the most of his chance so far in the big leagues. And Alex Gonzalez, the Brewers' new shortstop, flashing some great leather and the team leader in RBIs right now. Hi, everybody. We welcome you back from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us tonight. It is game one of this three-game series against the Houston Astros. And Rock, let's talk about the rebuilt infield, specifically offensively. Matt Gamble and Alex Gonzalez making significant contributions early.
Yeah, well, one guy, they knew what to expect. They knew what they were going to get. That's Alex Gonzalez. They weren't sure what they were going to get out of Matt Gamble. Now, in his career with the Brewers down in the minor leagues, he was terrific. It's just a matter of Gamble being able to bring that talent into the big leagues, and he certainly has been able to do that so far. I think he's been impressive. He's been able to be comfortable in the box, shooting the ball all around the diamond, and driving in some big runs early on in the season. The Brewers very happy with the way Gamble has progressed. Now, Alex Gonzalez, he's a proven entity. You know what you're going to get out of that guy. You're going to get great defense and some big hits. He's going to get some home runs, and although he did miss a couple of games, he's been swinging the bat pretty well. The bottom of the Brewers order has been pretty consistent. Now the top of the order has to get it going.
Now, two bright spots, Gonzalez and Gamble, in a sputtering offense, and hopefully that will change tonight. We continue the cheese theme. Zach Greinke back home where he is undefeated. He is on the mound, his second start of this homestand. Greinke against the Astros. Game one coming up next. And here comes Zach Greinke leading the Brewers onto the field at Miller Park. And a streak is on the line here. Zach Greinke, his teams have won 19 in a row. This is going back to his days as a Kansas City Royals. Two of those wins coming as a member of the Royals here at Miller Park. So 17 consecutive Brewers wins when Greinke has been on the mound. He has a personal streak of 12-0. Johan Santana, the all-time Major League record. Greinke hopes to get one step closer against Brad Mills' Houston Astros here tonight. Astros scrapping their way to a 6-10 record. They won yesterday in big fashion. They beat the Dodgers 12-0 in the final game of their series at home. Not a lot of household names in the Piggly Wiggly batting order for Houston. Jordan Schaefer leads off, had a grand slam yesterday. Then Jed Lowry, the former Red Sox. J.D. Martinez hits third. Carlos Lee, the former Brewer. Brian Bogasevic. Chris Johnson in the middle with Jason Castro, Jose Altuve, and Lucas Harrell on the mound. And that's the starting 9 that will face Zack Greinke.
Yeah, making his 4th start. Last time out against the Dodgers here at Miller Park. Very good for Zack. 7 innings. He only allowed 2 earned runs and continues to pitch well here. We talked about that a minute ago. 12-0 in a year plus. 2 starts this year with a 284 earned run average. He's 3-0 lifetime against Houston.
And let's check the defense for the Brew Crew behind Greinke. Nori Aoki gets the start in center. Hart and Braun flanking. And then Ramirez and Gonzalez on the left side with Weeks and Gamble on the right. Lucroy will do the catching tonight. The Brewers defense brought to you by Menards. And our 4-man umpiring crew, Andy Fletcher calling the balls and strikes. Rob Drake, Joe West, Sam Holbrook on the bases. There's the crew chief, Country Joe West. With the Houston Astros in town here tonight. So this is game number 7 of the homestand. The Brewers so far 3-3. Won a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, took 2 out of 3. Just dropped a series 2 out of 3 to the Rockies. Greinke's first pitch, upstairs, ball 1, and off we go from Miller Park. Hope you're having a great day on a Monday. Nice crowd still filing in here at Miller Park. Now the Brewers are pitching well, especially their starting pitching during this homestand. That hasn't been the issue. It has been the offense. Brewers are scuffling with the bats up and down their lineup. And hopefully today is the day the Brewers will break out. As Ron Renicky said, if everybody's slumping at the same time, that means everybody will hopefully get hot at the same time.
And the Houston Astros are a pretty good team to come into Miller Park. The Brewers have had a lot of success against the Astros, although the Astros, they might not have the big names. They're 4th in the league in runs scored. A lot of that coming yesterday with a 12-run outburst against the Dodgers.
Schaefer right off his foot, right off his shin, it looked like.
Right off that bone, right in the calf area, and then that's going to smart a little bit. Schaefer's been impressive. They picked him up in that Michael Bourne deal from the Atlanta Braves. He's off to a good start this year. That'll slow him down a bit.
Schaefer hit a grand slam yesterday in that 12-0 Astros win over the Dodgers. Going to break out some protection for protective pad down on that foot, looks like, for Jordan Schaefer. Let's take it back to yesterday. Watch this grand slam home run. Specifically Andre Ethier. He almost brings this one back. Would have changed the ballgame. It actually hit off of his glove. Instead, Schaefer with his first career grand slam, and that opened the doors for the Astros, and they would not look back. They boat raced the Dodgers yesterday 12-0 behind Wandy Rodriguez, who was outstanding in his start for Houston. So Schaefer doing all he can to walk it off, or else he's playing a mean game of possum.
I don't think so.
94-mile-an-hour fastball from Greinke. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He's having a tough time putting weight on that leg.
Count stays at 2-2.
Noticeably hobbling. Yeah, Greinke really commanded his fastball very well his last start against LA, and then was able to use that good slider as the put-away pitch. And normally what you see out of Zack.
2-2 pitch, and that one just missed. And a full count. Extended at bat here with the foul ball off the shin.
Took a little off the curveball, or the slider, I should say, but Schaefer had to lay off.
And he got him. And Schaefer still limping all the way back to the Astros dugout. That's the way the night begins for Zack Greinke, a strikeout.
Yeah, check out Schaefer as he swings his bat. Look at the front leg. I'd be surprised if he continued. He's having a rough time. But Greinke gets him to chase a pitch out of the zone.
Now we saw Corey Hart get hit by a pitched ball on the shin, just about that same area that knocked him out for a game. Be very interesting to see if Schaefer is going to continue here. As Jed Lowry will bat, switch hitting shortstop, and they're taking another look at Jordan Schaefer. Jed Lowry coming over to the Astros from Boston. Finally getting himself back in the lineup. He has struggled to stay healthy throughout his career. You know, he's never played more than 88 games in a season. He took over the starting shortstop's job last year for Terry Francona's Red Sox. Marco Scudero was injured. Lowry came in, was swinging the bat so well. Scudero never really got his job back until Lowry went down with an injury last season.
And he plays all over the diamond. I mean, Jed Lowry last year played third, short, second. Pretty good contact hitter. Can run a little bit. Astros have decided to go very young in all aspects of the game right now.
Yeah, young and inexpensive as they rebuild their organization, and they're rebuilding from the ground up. Have a new ownership group in place in Houston, and there are some ties with the Texas Rangers in that group, and they are trying to do what the Texas Rangers did circa 2006-2007. Start building from the minor league system as Lowry unloads on one. Hart is back. That is gone. Jed Lowry with his first home run of the season. And it's 1-0 Houston.
Yep, a 2-2 fastball right down the middle. And Jed Lowry, who really doesn't hit many, but he got a hold of that one. Yeah, good spot to hit it here at Miller Park. Actually, not a fastball, a slider that stayed up in the zone. He waited back and knocked it on out of here. Good swing by Lowry, and the Astros take an early lead. That's a spot to hit it right there.
And here's JD Martinez. Lowry started the season on the disabled list with an injured thumb. But he's come back swinging the bat well since his return. Gives the Astros the early lead. Those who have seen Houston play, talking to some of the scouts that have been on them so far this year, they talk about them scrapping and being a very good club. Attention to detail with these young players. They are executing well. They are not rolling over. They have very few veterans in their batting order. Carlos Lee hits fourth in this batting order. But they're giving it to the kids, and they're going to let them sink or swim.
And a lot of these kids have a lot less than a year of time in the big leagues. You know, obviously the big veteran Carlos Lee.
There's a bouncing ball out to Gonzalez, and JD Martinez is out number 2. Take it back to the Lowry home run.
And 2-2 slider for Jed Lowry. He's able to wait back and get the bat head out. That's a good looking swing on the right. See, he catches that baseball out in front and able to get about as much of it as he can right into the seats in left and right field.
And that is the first home run allowed by Zach Greinke this season. Here's Carlos Lee. And he jumps on the first pitch. Out to Nori Aoki, and that's the inning. So Greinke through the first, but gives up a home run. Brewers coming to bat. far would like to put the pedal down against Houston, make it a winning homestand before they head out on the road beginning Friday. Piggly Wiggly batting order for Renicky today. It's Weeks, Aoki, and Braun at the top. Ramirez, Hart, and Gamble, and then Gonzalez, Lucroy, and Zach Greinke. And that's the batting order that will face Lucas Harrell. He hasn't been in the big leagues very long, but he has been pretty successful, especially as an Astro.
Yes, he has. He has not allowed a home run, which is a tough thing to say, particularly pitching in Houston. He's making his 4th start, 3rd on the road already this year. Got roughed up in only 1 of his 3 starts. His last one very good. That was against Washington.
26-year-old Lucas Harrell. We saw him last year. He made his Astros debut against Milwaukee in late September of last season. And he pitched well. He went 5 1/3 innings in that game and did not allow a run. Astros got him from the White Sox. They picked him up in the Rule 5 draft, or checked that they picked him up off waivers last year.
Yeah, he spent 7 years in the minor leagues. He made 141 starts in the minors. So he's ready. You can't accuse anybody of rushing Lucas Harrell to the big leagues.
Speaking of rushing, he works very fast on the mound, something he picked up from Mark Burley, pitching with the White Sox. 2 balls and a strike on Ricky Weeks. Got in on his hands and out number 1 here. Check the defense for Houston. Martinez, Schaefer, and Bogusevic in the outfield with Johnson, Lowry, Altuve, and Carlos Lee around the horn. Jason Castro does the catching. Astros defense brought to you by Menards. There's Jason Castro, bright future ahead of him behind the plate. He and Harrell have a history together going back to Team USA. These 2 are battery mates for the gold medal winning United States team in Italy at an international competition a season ago. Norichika Aoki getting another start here for Ron Renicky, and Renicky hoping to jumpstart his top of the batting order, which we touched on in our open tonight. Aoki's done a nice job.
And Niger's having a tough time out of the gates, and Aoki's been swinging about well in his limited opportunities, so why not get him in there and get on base in front of Ryan Braun and Aramis Ramirez.
Aoki at the plate is 5 for 15, hitting in front of Ryan Braun. It has been very impressive to see Aoki come over here to a new culture, a new ballpark, a new team, facing pitchers he's never seen, and to have success, and to have most of that success in a pinch hit role.
Did you see that swing? I'd say that's one of the reasons why he's so, successful in such a tough out. Check this out. Kidding me? He makes contact. He gets both feet off the ground at one point and able to foul it off. Not many can do that.
Both feet off. That's Hal Morris right there.
And that is just completely a defensive swing, but he stayed alive.
That's the thing of beauty. that brings back, phrases from yesteryear when they used to call him batsman.
Yes.
He is a professional batsman. Nori Aoki. 3-2 is the count, and there's ball 4, so he spoiled a couple, and Aoki is aboard for Ryan Braun. All eyes on the heart of the order, the pillars of this batting order, those who are supposed to drive in runs.
A lot of success for Ryan and Aramis Ramirez. Of course, both of them have faced the Astros quite a bit. Aramis with the Pirates and the Cubs. Those are some pretty gaudy numbers between the 2 of them.
Now Braun just 2 for 20 on the homestand, but hitting .345 career against the Houston Astros. Well, Braun would love to give the Brewers some instant offense.
He's a tough guy to elevate and hit the ball out. He has a very good sinker slider. He'll throw a changeup, but in his first 3 starts has not allowed a home run, so he keeps the ball down. You talk to Johnny Nairn, he'll tell you, got to make him get his pitches up in the strike zone early in the count.
There's Johnny Nairn, the new hitting coach. Been spending some extra time in the tool shed as Braun fouls it away. No balls and 2 strikes. The tough inning for Harrell, as is the case with a lot of sinker ball pitchers, is the first inning. Once he gets past the first, he's able to settle down.
And remember, 3 of his first 4 starts now are on a foreign mound. He's only made 1 start in Houston. Plus, what you were saying, I mean, guy comes out of the bullpen a little bit too strong. That sinker flattens out a bit.
Aoki at first, and a breaking ball in the dirt gets away from Martinez. And Aoki will roll into second. I checked that. Castro, beg your pardon. And now a runner in scoring position.
A slider that Castro really didn't get down on his knees all that well on. You see his feet up in the ground, up in the air, and that not able to control it. You got to get down on the knees and smother that baseball.
Well, a base hit will bring in a run. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ryan Braun. And a little flare that's going to fall for a base hit. Here comes Aoki. Here comes the throw. Cut off. And we're tied at 1. Ryan Braun drives in Nori Aoki.
Now that's a thing of beauty right there. I mean, that slider going away from Ryan, and he shortened up his swing and just got the bat on it. That's a beauty right there. I mean, good plate discipline and bat control for Ryan Braun, and Brewers able to tie it up. That's a sweet swing right there.
Well, the wild pitch leads to a run for the Brew Crew. All even up as Braun drives in RBI number 8 of the season. And here's Aramis Ramirez. Well, you figure Braun will be taking off at some point. The Brewers want to try to run a little bit more, and Ron Renicky was talking about when you're not hitting, you try to push the envelope a little bit. The Brewers overall are a very aggressive team. Might not show up in the stolen base category, but they're a team that takes extra bases and will challenge. That one's hit well down the right field line, and that's going to fall. A base hit. Braun trucking his way around third, and he'll score easily. Ramirez on his way to third with an RBI triple. That is more like it, says this big crowd at Miller Park. 2-1 Brewers.
Well, Ramirez has really been doing a good job taking the ball to the opposite field in his last 3 at bats, including yesterday, a double down the line in right. He lined out hard his last time up yesterday to right, and this one stays in play, and Ryan able to score. So Ramirez's last 3 at bats hits the ball hard to right field. You love to see that.
And Aramis Ramirez safe at third, safe and secure. New York life. So Ramirez with an RBI triple. Runner at third with 1 away for Corey Hart. Ramirez with his first triple of the season, driving in his 7th run of the season.
Man, look at Altuve, the second baseman. Wow.
Interesting shift for Corey Hart. Don't see this very often.
Right. Altuve is about as far over past second base as you'll ever see a second baseman. Well, ordinarily, a second baseman doesn't have the kind of an arm to be able to make a throw like that, but apparently he does.
Astros giving the Brewers a little taste of their own defensive medicine here with a big shift on.
Carlos Lee is way off that line too.
I don't think I've ever seen a shift like this for Corey Hart in his career.
I've never seen a second baseman in that position for anybody. I mean, a lot of times you'll see him, right behind second base, but I mean, he's playing like a shortstop would for a double play. That's the second baseman right there.
And Carlos Lee with a lot of room. Hart is an excellent bunter as well. He's got some space to do it if he chooses that route.
And if he pushes the ball that way, I mean, you know Ramirez is going to be able to score.
2-1, and Hart a swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Corey Hart. He got off to a blistering start this year, but has cooled off significantly since. Has 13 hits on the season. 4 of those 13 hits are home runs. Hart has 5 doubles this year as well. So 9 of his 13 hits have gone for extra bases. That one is roped into the gap, and it is going to be caught. Tagging at third, and scoring is Ramirez. 3-1. That was a nice play out there by Bogusevic.
Yes, it was. That might have been a triple too if that ball got over his head. Oh, that's why you see a shift like that. When Corey goes to the opposite field, it's usually in the air. He very rarely hits the ball on the ground to the right side. That's why you see that shift. But they were straight away in the outfield. And Bogusevic doing a nice job retreating back and grabbing it right in front of the warning track.
Here's Matt Gamble with the bases empty. 2 outs in the inning. 3 runs are in for the Brewers, and more first inning woes for Lucas Harrell. Gamble lifts one in the air, shallow left, long run Martinez, and that's that in the first. But a good first for Milwaukee. Middle of the order, driving in runs. Braun, Ramirez, and Hart.
Take a 2-run lead into the top of the second, and they've had their way against the Astros in the last 16 games. They are 13-3 with a .304 team batting average. They're scoring nearly 6 runs a game. They've hit 24 home runs and have a team ERA of 2.86, including 9 straight wins over the Astros. And I had a chance to ask a few of the guys about this streak, and they were pretty much unaware of it. They know how they dominate Pittsburgh, but they had no idea how they've dominated the Astros, B.A.
Well, they probably do, right? But that's not something you want to get into, I guess, before a series. But Telly's right. The dominance has been impressive for Milwaukee, not just with the Astros, but as he mentioned, the Pittsburgh Pirates. And by the way, this begins the first season series matchup against the Houston Astros in their last season in the National League. They're headed to the American League next year.
To be 2 American League teams in Texas. How about that?
They'll cut down on the Rangers' travel a little bit. They'll be in the American League West next season, and then you'll have 6 5-team divisions, 3 in each league. And the Astros were the team that is headed to the AL. Well, Zach Greinke strikes out Brian Bogusevic to start the second inning. That's his second strikeout.
Hey, on Sunday, May 13th, all fans in attendance will get a Yovani Gallardo bobblehead, compliments of Robert Hack Diamonds. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com.
Had the Jonathan Lucroy bobblehead day yesterday. Let's hope the Gallardo bobblehead brings a little better luck to the Brew Crew. Rockies took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. Colorado supposed to play in Pittsburgh tonight. That game has been hampered by rain, cold weather.
Yeah, they're postponed right now.
Yeah, they already postponed it. A lot of weather, bad weather. Matter of fact, they called that game at 11 a.m. today. So no chance to get that one in. Jamie Moyer was scheduled to pitch today. I think everybody was anxious to see how Moyer would pitch after his historic win. But the Rockies, there's no question, based on what we saw in the 3-game series and what we saw this spring, that's a team that's going to hit.
I'd say that too, and the back end of their bullpen is pretty good. That Matt Belisle, very impressive.
Another strikeout as Chris Johnson goes down swinging. And Greinke has 3 Ks now.
It's just a matter of the Rockies being able to stay healthy. They've got some guys that are up there in age. And whether the rotation is going to be able to stay intact, that's a big question mark for Jim Tracy. They look good in the series here.
It's tough to get a handle on the National League West right now. Brewers are going to see a lot of the National League West in the coming weeks. There's a liner, a base hit for Jason Castro. Castro, a left-handed hitting catcher, and he delivers the second Houston hit.
Hey, good job of hitting by the young catcher, taking that baseball into left field, just out of the reach of Gonzalez. Nice short stroke. They've got 2 pretty good defensive catchers. Chris Snyder, the other one. That guy can throw a little bit.
Yeah, veteran catcher, former Diamondback, former Pirate. Jose Altuve at the plate for Houston. He proved to be a dangerous hitter last year.
And off to another very good start. Not a big guy, but he can hit a little bit. I mean, he's got a good approach at the plate. Doesn't walk too much, although he's walking a little bit more this year than he did a year ago, which isn't saying much.
He stands at 5 feet 5 inches. Brings to mind Astros fans who remember the toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn, who used to hit him up in the far reaches of the Astrodome back in the day. He was just 5'6".
Hey, they say in the notes here that Altuve has already walked more this year than he did all last year.
And a bouncer back up the middle, a base hit. Altuve can swing the bat. There's been a lot of discussion about Altuve perhaps hitting in the 3-hole for Houston at some point this year. He's hitting 8th in front of the pitcher for now.
You'd certainly like to get a little bit more power out of your number 3 guy. Your number 3 hitter is, normally your best all-around hitter. I don't know if you could classify Altuve as that. And that's why they're giving Martinez an opportunity. He's a threat with the long ball, and he's got a decent eye at the plate. You'd like your number 3 hitter to be able to walk a little bit. That guy can walk. He's got a good on-base percentage.
So 2 on, back-to-back hits with 2 away, and now the pitcher Lucas Harrell will bat.
So you talk about your number 8 hitter being your number 3 hitter.
That's where the Astros are right now. It's all in context.
Yeah, but they're still tough. I mean, they put up a 12 spot yesterday, and you got some young, hungry baseball players out there in the field.
That's exactly right. And I think for Brad Mills, even though you'd like some big names, some payroll to work with, but for a manager on some level, there has to be some excitement to be able to kind of do what you want with your batting order. You're able to move guys around. You're not going to get a lot of flack from the clubhouse.
And
that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's Brad Mills' strong suit, right? I mean, developing talent, teaching. Got an opportunity here.
Greinke will shovel it to Gamble. Inning over. Astros get a couple of hits, but strand them both. And Greinke picks up 2 Ks along the way. replay. We take you back to the Brewers' first inning, and just the kind of inning, Rock, the Brewers were in desperate need of.
And one of the reasons why Ron Renneke put Aoki in the lineup, he's able to draw a walk, and then a base hit and an RBI by Ryan Braun. Ramirez with a triple down the right field line, then Corey with a big sacrifice fly. So the problems for Harrell in the first inning continue. He's had a rough time so far this year in the first inning.
A 3-spot in the first for the Brewers on a couple of hits. And Braun, Ramirez, and Hart driving in the runs. For Corey Hart, that is his 10th RBI. That sends him to the top of the club, tied with the man at the plate, Alex Gonzalez. And as much as Ron Renneke likes Alex Gonzalez, likes what he can do with the bat, he does not want him leading the team in runs batted in. Now Gonzalez is off to a good start. The batting average is low. It's a .234, but he's hit for some power. 3 home runs. He has 10 runs batted in.
11 hits and 10 ribbies. I'll take that.
Gonzalez admitted he'd like to be able to use the opposite field a little better. He understands he's a pull hitter, and that's his power. But in the past, he says, and we're just going on his words, he's been able to use right field a little more often than he has this season.
Well, you hate to say it, and everybody's talking about it, but it's early yet. Kind of a rocky start for Gonzalez. He had to leave the team for 4 days. That doesn't help you.
Well, there's a good start to the second. Leadoff walk. Tonight, Fox Sports Wisconsin has Brewers and Bucks. If you're looking for the Bucks Raptors game, it's on Fox Sports Wisconsin's alternate channel. For more information and additional channel listings, you can visit foxsportswisconsin.com. But pause your DVR and write all these down really fast. The one that applies.
I mean, do the Bucks play 100 games a year? 120?
They're on a baseball schedule.
They play every day.
That's what a lockout will do to you.
Yeah.
Jonathan Lucroy with a man on. Lucroy with 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. And that was a base hit. Slapped it through the hole between third and short. And Lucroy with the 3rd Milwaukee hit. The Brewers turn it over that lineup quickly here tonight.
Well, Lucroy able to wait back on a breaking pitch and hit it hard into left. That allows Greinke to come up and drop down the bunt for the top of the order. Good swing by Luke.
Now the 3rd hit already to go along with 2 walks. And Zach Greinke already at the plate with nobody out in the 2nd inning. Early offense has been few and far between for Milwaukee so far on this homestand as Greinke bunts it foul. Leading up to tonight, you go back in the last 3 games. In the first 3 innings of each of the last 3 games, the Brewers have only posted 1 hit in that span.
Yeah.
That was a Ricky Weeks double on Saturday in the 3rd inning.
Well, the teams are going to go through stretches like that. I mean, you're not going to swing the bat all the time. And, I mean, even last year, you remember, even the Brewers' good stretch, there have been times where guys aren't hitting. That's why you have to rely on that consistent starting pitching. And the Brewers' pitching has been very good on this homestand. Offense is going to come and go all year. That's just the way it is for every team. So the starting rotation that the Brewers, throw at you just about every day, you hope it's going to keep you out of long losing streaks.
Well, it was the case last year. The Brewers were a streaky offensive team, even with the big bat of Prince Fielder in the batting order. It was Milwaukee's pitching, starting pitching and late inning relief that was the key to the success last year, as Greinke takes one high and tight, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
I tell you, Carlos Lee is about 30 feet from Zach Greinke. By the time that ball gets to the plate, that's a little bit too close. I mean, you bunt the ball hard to go right by him, and it'll be a base hit. Ideally, you want to stay about 60 feet away. We saw Matt Gamble do that a couple of days ago, and then he kind of backed off a little bit. He can get too close to home plate.
Greinke handles the bat well. See if he continues to bunt here. Corner infielders crashing in on him. Greinke pulls the bat back, and a bouncer that's going to turn into a double play. So that's what the Astros were hoping for. Greinke rolls into a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, because it was a 2-1 count, Carlos Lee wasn't crashing. Had they done that earlier, I think it would have worked out because they wouldn't have been able to have a guy at first base. Lee just stayed put. He said, all right, it worked out. I didn't expect that, but we got a double play.
Gonzalez advances to third. And now we'll see if Ricky Weeks can pick him up with 2 away. Weeks bounced out in the first inning. That's how the game started offensively for Milwaukee.
Yeah, but you could see in that at bat for Zach, he was really trying to hit the ball on the ground to the right side. I mean, you can't really guide it exactly where you want it. The idea was right to try and hit it right at Lee. He just wasn't able to do it, and it turned into a double play.
There's a strike from Lucas Harrell. 0-2 the count on Weeks. Gonzalez started this inning with a walk. Broken bat. It'll be a tough play. Johnson makes a good throw, and Weeks is retired. Brewers are done in the second. They come up empty after a promising start. Suit.com email the booth question. Any reasoning behind Zach Greinke's success at Miller Park? Tony and Madison. And that question we posed to the Brewers skipper, Ron Redicky.
I have no idea what the main reason is. I know some of it is we have swung the bat well for him to keep that streak going. But he has pitched better here. A lot of times you're more comfortable in the mound. A lot of times you're more comfortable in every surrounding that you're in. I don't know if that's just the case with Zach or not, but early in the season last year on the road, he did not pitch well. When he started pitching well, he pitched well everywhere. It wasn't just here.
Brewers manager Ron Redicky. For a guy who has no idea, that's a pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's
a pretty good idea.
Yeah, pretty good assessment, actually.
Schaefer drives one into right center, and he's going to challenge the arm of Aoki. The throw is cut off. And Jordan Schaefer with a double to start the third inning.
Yeah, so much for a bad leg, huh? Didn't seem to be running all that poorly on that double. Say the Astros coming out swinging the bats against a pretty good pitcher who's pitched well in this ballpark. You know, pitchers can be kind of finicky when it comes to, you know, their mentality going into a start, and the fact that, you know, he's comfortable here. He likes the mound. He likes the surroundings. A lot of times that has a big impact on how a guy throws. I think you were right. He was playing possum.
He's running well. Schaefer's very fast. He's done a nice job at the leadoff spot for Houston this year, and it's a leadoff double. And there's a bunt foul from Jed Lowry, who homered his last time up. And this is the kind of lineup, the kind of roster that Brad Mills has. You have guys ready to get the bunt down, but it can also hit home runs. They're not a real home run hitting team other than Carlos Lee, and his power production is down significantly the last couple of years. So they know they have to manufacture runs. 3-1 Milwaukee. For whatever the reason is, Greinke enjoys pitching at Miller Park. And if the Brewers win tonight, Greinke will inch closer to Johan Santana's major league record, which is at 24. He did that while a member of the Minnesota Twins. 24 straight victories, team victories. As Lowry does a nice job. Bouncer to the right side of the infield, and Schaefer advances.
Hey, tickets to Spring Madness May 21st and 23rd are half price, plus small Pepsi products and Clements hot dogs are $1 each. Some restrictions apply. Visit brewers.com/madness.
And here's the Astros 3-hole hitter, J.D. Martinez, with a runner at third. Just one out. Martinez bounced to short in the first inning. Hitting .304 on the young season after his 0 for 1 tonight.
Yeah, .304 batting average and a .418 on base percentage, and that's after a ground out in the first inning. That's what we're talking about. Your best all-around hitter, a guy that's patient at the plate. He can knock the ball out of the ballpark and got a little bit of speed, just like Ryan Braun.
Big prospect in the Astros system, getting a chance maybe earlier than he would if the Astros were contending year in, year out. I mean, if you're a young player, if you're just drafted or into the Astros minor league system right now, what a great opportunity. You perform, you're going to have a chance to play in the big leagues a lot faster than you would with a lot of other clubs. 2-1. Slicing foul in the seats. A reminder to set your compass due north on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Bill and Laura, they're on their adventures to Minnesota's North Shore along Lake Superior. Watch Due North Outdoors Thursday 10 p.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. 2 balls 2 strikes on J.D. Martinez. Chased one. Count stays at 2-2.
See Martinez, he stays right on the pitch. He doesn't have much of a trigger with his legs. I mean, he doesn't even pick up that front foot. He just kind of turns the heel out, and he's able to stay on balance and wait as long as he can, you know, to make a swing. Normally a guy like that's not going to have big power, but you know, he's got 3 home runs.
Now Martinez was 0 for 5 yesterday. That snapped a streak of reaching base in 14 consecutive games. And he starts a new one here tonight. His first trip on the bases after a 1-out walk.
It's been a struggle for command for Greinke so far tonight. He's had a tough time in each of the first 3 innings. And he's in trouble in this inning.
So 2 on for the Astros. One man gone for Carlos Lee. Well, the Astros cleared the way for Carlos Lee to play first base, a much better position for him at this stage of his career. Trading away Lance Berkman 2 years ago.
Yeah, you know, we saw him last year at first base. He didn't do too bad. I mean, he's not bad first baseman. Much better defensively at first than he is in left.
Lee with a couple of home runs, 11 driven in. Good block by Lucroy. Well, there was a stretch there. Carlos Lee is pretty much a guarantee to drive in 100 runs. As a Brewer in 05, drove in 114 runs.
You know, and back in those days, there was not a better guy in all of baseball in situations like this. A man at third, less than 2 outs, and that's what you're talking about. Now, years with the Astros, a little bit down. You know, still not bad, but not like it used to be. And that's a good hitter's ballpark, particularly for a right-handed hitter.
Well, there was a stretch, 6 out of 7 years, Carlos Lee drove in at least 100 runs. 2003 through 2009. The one year he didn't achieve that goal, he drove in 99 as a member of the White Sox. That's how the Brewers got him from the White Sox. He was only in Milwaukee a season and a half. Traded to the Texas Rangers in the 2006 season. Had him reaching, and this is going to work out well for Zach Greinke. The runners hold their ground. Carlos Lee pops up. You don't see him spoil RBI opportunities very often.
Yeah, he was very good at the quote-unquote cheap RBI, man at third, less than 2. You get the ground ball. How about that curveball from Greinke? Had Carlos Lee really off balance, and that got him on a weak pop up to second base. That was a dandy of a pitch.
Well, now 2 outs, and Greinke will face Brian Bogasevic. Greinke struck him out in the second inning. Astros have out-hit the Brewers at this point. They have 4 hits already. The only run was a home run by Jed Lowry in the first. Knocking at the door with 2 outs. Another big cut by Bogasevic. Astros are starting a 6-game road trip tonight after a brief 3-game homestand against the Dodgers. And it's their first matchup against a division opponent tonight. Bouncing ball to Weeks. Nice easy hop for him. Greinke is out of the third. Astros strand 2 more. They've left 5 already. 3-1 Brewers. Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Under the lights, under the closed roof of Miller Park on a cool Monday night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Clear skies, though, great tailgating weather. Got a nice crowd on hand on a Monday as Aoki rips one foul. Well, Aoki got it started for the Brewers in the first inning. He walked. Had a tough battle against Lucas Harrell. Fouled off a couple of pitches before finally drawing the walk. Part of a 3-run first inning. Foul tip into the mitt of Castro. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Had him out in front of the changeup. I think that's the first changeup that Harrell's thrown tonight.
Even his swings and misses or his foul tips are stylish. 2-2 on the way. Aoki fights that one off. Think about this, Rock. Think about the 3 center fielders the Brewers have. Aoki, Carlos Gomez, Nyjer Morgan. I mean, full of personality and style.
Right.
All very unique.
In their own way, right?
In their own way.
All right.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Aoki has seen a lot of pitches from Lucas Harrell.
Yeah, minimum 7 in this at bat.
Into center. And Schaefer is there for the out. 1 gone. Aoki first out of the 3rd inning. Check the Powerball home run leaderboard right now. The Brewers with Corey Hart leading the way 4 home runs. Kataris and Gonzalez with 3.
Yeah, just to give you a sense of where the Brewers are, they're 2nd in the National League in home runs, and you've only got 3 home runs out of Braun and Ramirez. So the other guys around, the 3-4 hitters are picking them up. You know those 2 are going to get hot at some point.
Hart's tied for 4th in the league in home runs. Matt Kemp is the league leader with 9. Now Braun drove in a run his first time up. And a 2-strike single to center field. It was a beautiful piece of hitting. Off the end of the bat, he reached out for it. Just served it into center field for the first Brewers run of the game. That one's on the corner. So Harrell twice has hit the outside corner, and it's 0-2 against Braun. Got him. Goes up the ladder. Braun strikes out for the 2nd out of the inning.
That's not usually the way he attacks hitters up in the strike zone, but that was right at the belt. Pretty straight, but Ryan swings right through it at 91 miles an hour.
You don't want Harrell getting into a groove on the mound like he is now. He is pouring in the strikes.
It's been his pattern, though, this year, isn't it?
He's a fast worker. Hitters will try to step out and disrupt that timing a little bit. Ramirez drove in a run with a triple back in the first inning, his first triple of the season. Shattered bat. Jed Lowry scoops it, throws it, and a 1-2-3 inning for Lucas Harrell, his best inning yet.
Harrell's always had a tough time, at least this year in the first inning. Things got going with an Aoki walk. He got the second on the wild pitch. Braun, he scored him to tie it up, and then Aramis Ramirez with his first triple down the right field line. That made it a 2-1 game, and Corey Hart with a sac fly to finish things off in the first. Brewers with a 3-1 lead.
And since then, Lucas Harrell has posted 2 scoreless innings, coming off a 3-up, 3-down inning in the third against Milwaukee. So we move to the fourth. Zach Greinke facing Chris Johnson to start it. Johnson a strikeout victim in the second. Chris Johnson, he burst onto the scene a couple of years ago. Showed a lot of power. Looked like he was going to be the everyday third baseman for a while for the Houston Astros. Those numbers dipped last year, but again, with the Astros in the position they're in of rebuilding, Johnson's going to get another chance.
And he's a very streaky hitter. When he gets going, he can hit some home runs, particularly at Minute Maid Park with that short left field porch. A couple of years ago, he hurt the Brewers a lot with the home run ball.
He hit 11 home runs in 2010 in just 94 games. Greinke has punched his ticket twice tonight. Strikeout number 4 for Zach Greinke, one away in the fourth inning. AT&T Trivia Rock. You're going to like this one. Who are the only 2 pitchers with an unbeaten record at Miller Park? It's a minimum 5 decisions. You know Greinke's one of them. He's 12-0. There's only one more. You've seen just about every game in this ballpark.
Right. I don't know who it is.
Got nothing.
No idea.
Well, you're in luck. You don't have to wait long to find out.
You're wondering if I'm going to give some guesses? That's a tough one. It is.
Two balls, no strikes on Jason Castro, who singled his last time up.
Now, if I were to have to, do some figuring on that, it would be a guy that's not in the division. That's what I would think. A guy that hasn't pitched all that much here, maybe sporadically, but maybe not.
You're thinking maybe like a road pitcher comes in here and has sporadic success.
Right.
Broken bat. Gamble gobbles it up. Will take it himself for out number 2. That's a professional guess right there. That's a salty old dog reference. That's
guy
a
in the Eastern Division or the West, the Western Division. Who knows? That would be my guess.
Well, you've done a nice job building the anticipation. Jose Altuve now with 2 away. When you were catching, what do you think about a guy who tracked the ball all the way to your glove like that?
It means he's a tough out, a tough guy. He won't swing at too many bad pitches. Pete Rose used to do that. He wasn't a bad hitter.
That's right. Pete Rose.
Haven't had many Pete Rose references.
Oh, and 2 to Altuve. That slow breaking ball from Greinke. He'll do that. He's thrown that curveball. I think the slowest he's thrown it in his time as a Brewer is 62 miles an hour.
62 to 93.
That's unbelievable. 1 and 2. What does he have in mind? Back to a breaking ball, and Altuve lays off. Jose Altuve, Houston's second baseman. Broke in last year with Houston. There's a fastball strike on the corner. Altuve, he is gone on strikes. And Greinke picks up 2 more. Corey Hart, he'll lead off when we come back. 3-1. The Brewers lead the Astros at Miller Park.
Bottom of the fourth inning. Time to check in with the Drew in the community. Brewers fans, do you know someone who has helped improve the lives of others? If so, the Brewers would like to hear from you. Nominate your Brewers Community Achiever at brewers.com/community or pick up a nomination form at the guest relations booth at Miller Park. Each month, one individual will receive 4 tickets, on-field acknowledgement, and the opportunity to throw out a ceremonial first pitch. Brian?
I'm going to nominate Telly.
That's a good nomination.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, he gets around the community, that's for sure.
Like that. I like that opportunity right there. Thank you, Telly. We move to the bottom of the fourth. Corey Hart will lead off. It'll be Hart, Gamble, and Gonzalez against Lucas Harrell. Harrell has 1 win this year. He picked that victory up against the Colorado Rockies. That was his first start of the season. And you know how the Rockies swing the bats. Harrell went 7 shutout against Colorado on April 7th. Hart drives one down the right field line. That will bounce and go to the corner. Bogusevic up with it. Hart not stopping on his way to third. Lee's throw is high. And it's backed up by Harrell. Nice job by the Astros pitcher. Triple number 1 of the season for Corey Hart.
Yep, down in that corner. That's the second triple down in that right field corner for Milwaukee. Ramirez with his triple in the first inning, and Corey Hart never slowing down around second base. And a very good job by the Astros pitcher to back it up. He was in perfect position to keep that ball out of the dugout. Good job by Corey. Inside out stroke, driving it down the right field line. Bogusevic had a little bit of a problem with it down in the corner, and that's why Corey was able to get to third base.
So there's Hart at third base with nobody out. Gamble lifts one high and deep to right. Bogusevic at the wall makes the catch. And Hart will cruise in to score. Gamble almost hit one out of here. Instead, it's a sacrifice fly. The Brewers have a 4-1 lead.
And Matt Gamble's had a very good start to his season. That .273 batting average. He's hit into some tough luck from time to time. Hit some balls very hard, but able to get enough of it to drive in the run.
Second run produced on and out for the Brewers here tonight. Corey Hart had the sac fly in the first inning. Now Gamble here in the fourth. Bases clean, 1 away for Alex Gonzalez.
And Brewers doing a nice job with run manufacturing here tonight. 2 sac flies and a walk and wild pitch, a couple of hits, a sac fly. That's what you got to do when you're having a tough time at the plate. You go through those stretches where you're not hitting home runs. You've got to score runs other ways.
Now the run producers are doing just that here tonight. 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the batting order with the 4 runs batted into this game. And for Gamble, that's RBI number 6 as Gonzalez takes a strike. 3-1 now on Alex. He walked on 4 pitches in the second inning. He's a free swinger. You don't see Gonzalez walk that often. He takes a hack at that one. Going to be a tough play. Lee's going back, and that's going to bounce foul. Altuve made a play very similar to that yesterday against the Dodgers. It was a beauty.
I don't think Altuve wants to get too close to Carlos Lee when he's running full speed. That would be a mismatch.
Back to the trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Only 2 pitchers with an unbeaten record at Miller Park. You know Zach Greinke is one. The other is Mitch Stetter.
I was wrong, huh?
Yeah, he's pitching in Double-A in Huntsville. He is back with the organization now.
Not only was he in the division, but he was on the same team.
On the team in the division. 7-0 for Stetter. Gonzalez draws his second walk. And if you're wondering about the winningest pitchers at Miller Park, Greinke, of course, at the top, and then Stetter. CC Sabathian. Boy, there's some great memories right there. 2008. Won 7 of his 8 decisions at Miller Park.
Yeah, Wade Miller, former Astro. He put together some pretty good starts here. Claudio Vargas.
Yeah, the Magic Man.
Yes, sir. Remember that? Yeah. Bases loaded, nobody out. How many times did he get out of that jam?
I know for a fact he did it twice against the Astros that one season. Claudio Vargas. That's fun to bring up some of those old names.
Yeah.
Well, here's Lucroy with Gonzalez at first base. 1 man out. Doug Brocail on his way out to have a chat with his young pitcher Lucas Harrell. Quick trip to the mound for the Astros pitching coach. A good crowd on a Monday. They've had a lot to cheer about so far. The Brewers lead 4-1 and thirsty for more as Lucroy 1 for 1 tonight with a single. He takes a strike. The Brewers own the second longest winning streak against the same opponent in their 9-game winning streak over the Houston Astros. The longest active streak is Detroit over Cleveland. That one's a 10 in a row. Bounce to the short. Might have a chance at 2. Lowry, Altuve, and he throws it into the Brewers dugout. And Lucroy will be awarded second base. Well, I think a good throw is going to get Lucroy. They turned it quickly, but a poor throw from Jose Altuve.
Now, Altuve didn't have to be that quick. He has to know who's running. And Lucroy with a late break out of the box because he got jammed, but you can see that throw not even close, and Luke not even in the picture yet. And Telly Hughes is closer to that than Carlos Lee.
Telly and Woody bailing quickly there. Got a piece of the camera.
Did you see Telly go down? But Woody did not budge.
I beg to differ. I think Woody did budge, and I think Woody put that very expensive camera in between himself and the baseball.
I want to be on record, Woody, as saying that I protected you there. No, come on now.
Oh, he budges. Look,
No, that's a true pro.
I'm not saying he didn't have the shot.
Risking life and limb for the shot.
That's one of the best in the business right there. Woody he's been dodging poor throws from second base for many years. And that's his shot right there of Zach Greinke. That camera down there has given us some of the great visual images in this this run for the Brewers. And he's always back there. Kenny Rogers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm anxious to see what that shot looked like from Woody's camera. Now we'll really see if he hung in there.
Trying to follow the baseball, and
yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, that's in focus. It's where it's supposed to be. I don't think you were right there. I think he hung in there.
And the first rule for a good cameraman: always put the equipment in harm's way before you put yourself. Didn't take Telly long to get underground, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, he pulled the chute quick.
I'm out.
I don't blame him, though.
2-2 to Greinke with 2 men out. Runner at second. And Zach taking a cut a little bit late. Greinke does have a hit this year. He's 1 for 6 at the plate. Last time up, he was up there to bunt, but with the corner infielders crashing in on him, he decided to swing away. The old butcher boy play, and it worked out poorly. Turned into a 4-6-3 double play. 2-2. Over to Lee. And that will retire the side. Brewers get another run on a sac fly from Gamble. 4-1 Milwaukee.
Almost sack fly, and tonight's Tavern of the Game winner is Gale's Place in Mosinee. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Well, it may be just April here, but it's time to ramp up and vote Brewers, Rock. This season, 8 Brewers players are featured on the ballot for the All-Star game in Kansas City. And right now, fans are able to vote online at Brewers.com. All fans voting 21 or more times will be entered to win Ryan Braun's Miller Park suite for a night. Log on to Brewers.com. Cast your vote now. That's 21 or more times.
That's a good deal. Sitting in Ryan's suite. I'm sure he's got it fully stocked.
Got to be. I wonder where it is. I wonder if it's up top or down below. Never been invited.
We couldn't go anyway.
We could do a game from there. It's true. Be kind of wasteful, though, I guess. Now, Lucas Harrell, the Astros pitcher, will lead off against Greinke here in the 5th. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. And there's a base hit. So Harrell comes up with a single against Greinke. And for the second time tonight, the Astros have their lead base runner aboard.
It just goes to show you that anybody with a bat in their hand can be dangerous. Not a bad hack by Harrell. Looking like he knows what he's doing up there, and he's able to slice one and into left field for a leadoff base runner.
So Harrell is aboard. And Greinke has to go to work against the top of the order. 4-1 Brewers. Jordan Schaefer is batting. Schaefer doubled his last time up. Greinke struck him out in the first inning. That's how the game began. During that at bat, Schaefer fouled one off of his right foot and is wearing a brace on that right foot. Actually fouled it off his shin on the right leg. I always wondered, a pitcher remembers that, of course. Does he just continue to throw, down and in breaking balls and sinkers?
Well, he tried to throw one down and in, and he raked it into the gap in right center his second time up.
A double by Schaefer extended his on base streak to 17.
Seems like he's having a tough time with that pitch up around the belt. Left-handed hitters just like dropping the head of the bat down in the zone, down and in, anywhere down is their sweet spot. Ordinarily the strikeout was on a high fastball.
Schaefer strikes out a lot. His 21 strikeouts, he and Ricky Weeks the top two strikeout leadoff hitters this year. The thing about Schaefer, though, at least in the early going, he's been walking a lot. Schaefer has 10 walks. That's the most by a leadoff hitter in the National League.
Yeah, 377 the on base percentage. That's pretty good. Anything over 350 is considered to be pretty good these days.
2 balls, 2 strikes. He's tough to double up. He's very fast. A little roller foul. Stays at 2-2. Brad Mills says he's not so concerned about the strikeouts as long as he's drawing walks and he's getting on base at this clip. He's doing it about as well as you can for a leadoff hitter right now. He's doing his job to get on base.
Yeah, runs scored and on base percent is the two most important statistics for a leadoff hitter. And he scored 13 runs.
And there's a base hit. On base twice more here tonight. Back-to-back singles against Greinke, and the Astros putting up a threat in the 5th.
Another pitch down and in, and just like the double his last time up, he's able to rake it into right. You see it. He likes the ball down in there. Anything up he's having a tough time with, but down there, look out. Back-to-back hits.
Well, the Braves traded him to Houston to that Michael Bourne deal, and they traded from a position of strength. There wasn't a lot of room in that Atlanta outfield. Schaefer finds himself with plenty of playing time, plenty of opportunities in Houston, and he's responded well. Now Jed Lowry. Lowry, one of the rare hitters in the game today that hits from a closed stance. I can only think of a handful of guys. Alfonso Soriano comes to mind.
And he's got the most dramatic closed stance. There are guys with a more subtle closed stance, but you're right, most guys are straight up or a little bit open. Back in the old days, you never saw hardly anybody with an open stance. It was all closed stance.
I just see those images of Mike Schmidt, the extreme closed stance. Rob Deere.
Yeah.
I'm sure you used a closed stance.
Robin, I used everything. I had 3 stances in one at bat.
Yeah, Robin in that closed stance. Well, Jed Lowry, he produced some power out of that stance in the first inning, put the Astros on the board first with his first home run of the season. Lowry started the year on the disabled list. This is just his 10th game.
He's right on that dish too, isn't he? He's got that lead elbow hanging right on that inside corner.
Does the stance alone tell you anything about a hitter?
The stance, no, but where he picks up his foot and when he sets it down, will tell you where he's vulnerable. A lot of guys are going to start with an open stance, but they always work their way toward the plate, you know, in an effort to remind themselves to keep that shoulder closed and be able to cover the outside corner. Now, he starts there, but he's not going to finish there once he picks up his leg. He's going to pick it up and be straight away pretty much.
Hitters are pretty quick to obliterate that back line of the batter's box as well. That's usually gone in the first inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a swing and a miss. Greinke strikes out Lowry. That's a big one.
Kind of surprised that he wasn't up there to bunt. I mean, the Astros, they have to manufacture runs. They've got the 3-4 hitters coming up. And now a double play gets Greinke out of the inning, and pretty much the same pitch to Lowry that he hit out of the ballpark, but this time it was more down in the strike zone. Good pitch.
Strikeout number 6 for Greinke. To your point, Lowry was bunting in the 3rd inning, but not this time. And the runners stay put after the strikeout. First and second for J.D. Martinez. Martinez has driven in 14 runs this year. He's off to a great start. He's currently 5th in the National League. He's hit 3 home runs. Strike on the corner. Good fastball from Greinke.
You see that open stance, and you know, right before Greinke gets rid of it, he picks it up and straightens himself out. There's an example of what we're talking about. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. When I mean finish, where your front foot is, that'll determine how close you are to the plate when you start your swing.
Greinke has dotted that corner back-to-back pitches. 2 and 2. And he hits it again. Martinez is rung up. Greinke strikes out J.D. Martinez, strikeout number 7, and back-to-back Ks with 2 on.
Just check it out. You can't walk it across any better than that. Right on the outside corner, and Andy Fletcher brings it up a little bit too close to take with 2 strikes.
Ties a season high for Greinke with 7 strikeouts. And that's the 3rd time he has struck out 7 in a game this year. 2 on for Carlos Lee. Swinging away on the first pitch, a base hit to center. Here comes Aoki, then the runner will be held around 3rd. The throw sails high. Greinke was not backing up.
Yeah, what was he doing?
That's a big play by Jonathan Lucroy. That just saved a run.
I'm not sure what Zach was thinking. I mean, you got to back up. I guess maybe he's thinking there's not going to be a play at the plate, and I'm surprised that Schaefer wasn't able to score. He's obviously having a tough time running because he's the leadoff hitter. You know, 2 outs, a base hit. I mean, you always send a runner. Dave Clark, in this case, holds him up because apparently he's not running all that well. That's a surprise. I mean, 9 times out of 10, or maybe 99 out of 100. Actually, that was the pitcher. My mistake. Makes a little bit more sense.
Well, 2nd and 3rd now. And Bogusevic able to check his swing. So the base is loaded as Carlos Lee comes up with his first hit. Well, the way Greinke is striking out hitters still is a little surprising they didn't take a shot at one there. You know, a lot of third base coaches, they're sending runners knowing that a good throw is going to get an out. They're banking on a poor throw. I was talking to Ed Cedar about that the other day, Brewers third base coach. He says, you know, odds are in our favor that you're not going to get a good throw. 1-2 the count on Bogasevic.
Well, the Astros didn't get a good throw. So you wonder, I guess the pitcher running, you don't want to have a collision with your pitcher at home plate. I guess that's why they held him up.
Crowd hungry for a strikeout from Greinke. 2-2 now on Bogasevic. Big numbers with bases loaded this year, including a grand slam this season. Two coming. Lucroy keeps it in front. Count is full now. And all three runners will get a head start. 92 pitches for Zach Greinke working in the fifth. He's given up 7 hits to the Astros, but just 1 run. The runners take off. 3-2 pitch inside, ball 4. He lost him. A bases loaded walk. And the hold at third base by Dave Clark pays off.
Well, Greinke ahead in the count. Wasn't able to put him away. Couldn't get that put away pitch. Looked like that cut fastball that started in and ended up walking in a run on a walk.
RBI the easy way for Bogasevic. Now a base hit will tie the game as Johnson looks at a breaking ball away. Johnson has struck out twice. You see 2 strikeouts in a row, you can always expect a hitter to be aggressive next time up. Not much he could have done with that pitch, though.
Yeah.
(4-2) Brewers. Astros threatening in a big way here in the fifth. There's another one on the corner. He has been nailing that corner in this inning.
Now this is where you throw that slider off the plate and you get Lucroy to block it.
One-two and a swing and a miss. Lucroy blocks. He'll step on the plate to secure it, and the side is retired. A 3-strikeout inning, but the Astros score. It's 4-2 Brew Crew. Ricky Weeks set to lead off for Milwaukee as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. A little Van Halen in the show tonight, Rock.
Rocking out.
Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Telly Hughes. That's new Van Halen. That takes you back a ways, doesn't it?
It's my era.
They're back. Who knew? It's good stuff. 4-2 Milwaukee. Astros getting a run on a bases loaded walk in the top of this inning, but they stranded the bases full. And the Astros have left 8 men on base in this game.
They're giving Zach Greinke all he needs tonight. I mean, they have been pesky up there at the plate. But for the most part, Zach's been able to make his pitches when he needs them.
Weeks off the end of the bat. Altuve makes the catch, and Ricky is 0 for 3. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Good looking crowd on a Monday night in Milwaukee. Brewers trying to fight their way back to 500. They're 7-9 on the season. The Astros are 6-10. So far in the Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are the only team over 500. Aoki takes a strike from Harrell. Nori walked and scored his first time up. Bouncer to Altuve for out number 2. And Aoki's 0 for 2. Cardinals are at Wrigley Field tonight. On a chilly night in Chicago. St. Louis has a 2-1 lead. Top of the 6th inning at Wrigley. Cardinals are off to a great start despite a number of injuries. St. Louis is 11-5.
Well, Kyle Lowe's 3-0. He's off to a good start. There's a guy you don't hear a whole lot of talk about. Adam Wainwright has scuffled.
0-3 is Wainwright.
Yeah. Kyle Lowe's picking up the slack.
Well, Braun driving in a run in the first inning. Started the scoring for Milwaukee with an RBI single. Yes, Cincinnati and the Brewers are 7-9. Pirates are 6-9. Houston 6-10, and the Cubs are at the bottom. Dale Swaim's team off to a rough beginning. 4-12. That one is ripped left center field, and that ball is gone. Ryan Braun with a scorching home run to left center. Wow, that didn't take long at all. Number 3 for Braun. It's 5-2 Brewers.
And no hang time on that one. A bullet out of here. Question is, was it going to be high enough? And it barely was. There it is. I think it was a changeup, and Ryan able to wait back, and he hammers this baby. That is about as perfect a swing as you'll see. And just barely able to get over the top of that wall.
Third homer, 9th run batted in for Braun, a second RBI of the game.
And first homer allowed by Harrell. He's done a good job keeping the ball down.
You could tell by the way Braun got out of the box, he wasn't sure it was high enough either. He was sprinting out of the box.
So he didn't pick the jersey?
I didn't see him pick the jersey that time.
None of that?
It's a good eye, though. He was full speed thinking extra base hit, but it had enough carry on it to fly out of here. Ramos Ramirez with 2 away after the Braun home run. 5-2 Brewers. 5 hits now.
See Dan writing a shot down there in the dugout. Everybody was at his surprise 50th birthday party after the game last night. Not everybody. You weren't there, but most everybody.
No response. Wow. The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Right over the back.
Ramirez grounds out. Anyway, Ryan Braun with a home run. And it's 5-2. Giving Dan Wright a very nice birthday present.
I said happy birthday for you.
Of the season, they have all come here at Miller Park, and Ryan Braun is climbing the list at 164 career home runs, and he has the entire season. We're talking about home runs through the first 6 seasons. Look at the names that are on this list, and of course Prince Fielder was on that list. Braun, with a normal Braun season, will break into this list. Well, there are Hall of Famers all over that one.
Yeah,
and Braun certainly takes his place among the greatest home run hitters of all time. If he stays healthy, he is going to put up historic numbers in his career. He's already off to an historic start. Well, he makes it 5-2. Brewers with a 3-run lead. Greinke back on the mound, and he is already approaching 100 pitches.
And does it surprise you that 3 of the top 5 guys on that list are active? I don't think it does.
No.
Not the way they're hitting home runs these days.
That's one of my favorite graphics, though. You get an idea, and even though Prince Fielder's in Detroit now, but how special Fielder and Braun were together for those 5 seasons. Very rare in baseball history do you see 2 sluggers of that caliber. Castro pops it up. Braun wants it. And there's out number 1 for Zach Greinke. Well, tonight Fox Sports Wisconsin has Brewers and Bucks. If you're looking for the Bucks and Raptors, it's on Fox Sports Wisconsin's alternate channel. For more information and additional channel listings, visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Jose Altuve now with 1 away. Greinke has 8 strikeouts thus far, but hasn't been on his A game tonight. He's given up 7 hits. He has allowed 2 walks. One of those walks came with the bases loaded. That led to the second Houston run.
Zach could use a quick inning here. Pitch count getting up there, as you said. 103. It's probably going to be his last inning, you would think.
Most he's thrown this year is 109. Little tapper that had some spin, and it spins foul. Probably just as well. Brewers are going to get some reinforcements tomorrow. It is thought that Cameron Lowe will return from California. He's on a bereavement leave. That's a minimum 3 days by rule, and then a maximum of 7 days. But Cameron Lowe's grandfather passed away, and he was very close to his grandfather, who was a war hero, twice decorated with a Purple Heart. And we send our best to Cameron Lowe and his family. Slow roller. Greinke lets Aramis Ramirez handle it, and Altuve beats it out without a throw. That was going to be a tough play for either one of those two. That'll be an infield hit.
And a little, excuse me, swing by Altuve, and once again making contact and able to get a base hit. That will be a single, an infield hit. Altuve's second hit. Tried to pull a breaking ball and didn't hit it all that well, but that's a tough play for Ramirez at third base. Ball spinning like it was.
Rick Kranitz, Milwaukee pitching coach, on his way to the mound. Maybe buying a little time for the bullpen here. You know, Greinke's trying to muster up enough to get through this inning.
Hey, Monday, May 7th is a Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Game. Bring last month's Time Warner Cable billing statement to the Miller Park box office for a buy one get one free Terrace ticket voucher.
Jose Veras. Just now it's starting to get loose. Pitches by inning for Greinke. Greinke had a 109 pitch game against the Dodgers his last time out. Brewers won that game 3-2. Greinke did not factor in the decision. That was the walk-off win in the 10th inning, the Braun sac fly.
Yeah, 109 pitches, but 7 innings for Greinke. He's right about there now in the 6th inning.
Justin Maxwell is the pinch hitter for Houston. So Lucas Harrell is out. Harrell goes 5. Gives up 5 runs. And it's a ball and a strike on Maxwell. Astros have activity in their bullpen. Brandon Lyon will be next on the hill.
He used to be their closer.
Brett Myers now closing for the Astros, starting pitcher turned closer. Many feel that cover the Astros, they are going to be very active in the trade market. Some of their established stars, guys like Brett Myers and Wandy Rodriguez. As teams start moving into a pennant race, the Astros will try to unload some salary and reload with prospects. Now, if Houston is going to model the Texas Rangers system and how they built their minor league system, and that's been the plan. That's the public plan for Houston. They like what the Rangers have done. They've seen the success the Rangers have had, and they want to do the same. 2-2. Little half swing. He goes through. Maxwell is retired.
Yeah, one of the better sliders that Greinke's thrown tonight. Coming here in the 6th inning. Look at this one. Late breaker straight down, and Maxwell can't hold up. That's a beauty.
9 strikeouts for Zach Greinke. That's his season high. Actually had a 9 strikeout game in the spring against the Angels, believe it or not. Normally you're not around long enough to strike out 9 batters in a spring training game. Runner goes. Lucroy's throw to second. He is late. Altuve swipes second base. He got a good jump.
A pesky baseball player, to say the least. You're talking about Jose Altuve. Makes good contact. Once in a while, he'll steal you a base. And a high throw by Lucroy, but I don't really think it would have mattered.
Altuve's 3 for 3 in stolen base attempts this year. So now Jordan Schaefer with a runner in scoring position. He's been tough on Greinke tonight. A couple of hits.
He's been tough on that low fastball. I think Greinke struck him out up around the belt. Put a couple of fastballs down in his zone. He's hit him hard to right.
One and two on Jordan Schaefer. No relation to Logan Schaefer, the Brewers AAA center fielder. They spell their last name the same though.
Very similar ball players, aren't they?
Left-handed bats, very fast.
Kind of look alike a little bit. Same build.
The Astros were able to pick up Schaefer at the trade deadline last year, and the Braves made the push for Michael Bourne. Fly ball, foul territory. Ramirez is there. Aramis Ramirez snatches one right at the last moment. Side retired. Greinke is through 6 innings. Good catch, Aramis Ramirez. Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time.
Yeah, earlier today, the Brewers hosted a career fair here at Miller Park for those interested in a career in sports. Representatives from various sports teams, universities, and companies were on hand to talk about job openings, internships, and give advice on how to break into the industry. All participants were also given a ticket to tonight's game.
A nice day at Miller Park for him, and part of this sizable crowd on a Monday night. Zach Greinke most likely finished for the night. 6 innings, 2 runs, and a season high for strikeouts with 9. Greinke giving up 8 hits to the Houston Astros. And on a night when he didn't have his best stuff, he was able to strike out a bunch of hitters and give up just 2 runs, and he's in a position to win the ball game.
Not often you have a 5-2 lead and you've been out hit 8-5. The Astros have made it tough on Greinke tonight as Brandon Lyon takes over. We mentioned he was the closer here last year. 0-1 record, a 3.00 earned run average, another sinker baller.
Corey Hart's had a good night tonight. Had a sac fly in the first inning, driving in his 10th run of the year, and a triple and a run scored in the 4th. He drove one down the right field line back in the 4th inning. Hart has been an extra base hitting machine. He's got a slugging average of .647. As a matter of fact, 10 of his 14 hits have been for extra bases.
He's that kind of a hitter. You know, he lays into one, he's going to hit it hard and find the wall somewhere. He scored 11 runs, an on-base percentage of .377, so he's been drawing his walks.
Full count to Hart, and that one is ball 4.
He's showing a good eye right there. That one didn't miss by much.
Lyon walks the first batter he faces. And a man on for Matt Gamble, who narrowly missed a home run his last time up. It still was plenty deep to score Hart and a sacrifice fly for Gamble. But he sent Bogusevic to the wall in deep right field. Gamble has 1 homer, 6 runs batted in now. And that one's lined into left center, a base hit. Hart's going to take the extra base. Throw comes into second, and the Brewers in business again as Matt Gamble keeps it rolling.
That's a nice short stroke right there. Lyon left one out over the plate. Matty, very nice swing. Watch how quiet his hands are, and he just lines that one over the head of Jed Lowry. And Corey Hart with some pretty good base running, able to get into third base. He never slowed down. He saw that Schaefer had a ways to go to get it and able to cruise in standing up.
First and third, nobody out to start the 6th inning. And Alex Gonzalez up in another prime run producing spot. And out of the dugout comes Brad Mills. Astros manager doesn't have anybody loosening in the bullpen, so this is a strategic meeting by the Astros skipper. So let's take it back to Zach Greinke's day. Our Pizza Hut delivery of the game. What'd you see from the right-hander tonight?
That was a battle for Greinke here tonight. I mean, we've seen him sharper, but he made his pitches when he had to. It seems as though there were men on base in every inning, which there were, except for the 4th. He had a 3-up, 3-down 4th. And the Astros stranded a lot of opportunities. They left 8 runners on base, so Greinke able to get the job done, but I had to work for it tonight.
Well, Greinke and the Brewers trying to keep the streak alive. If they hang on to win this game without surrendering the lead, Greinke would improve to 13-0 at Miller Park, and the Brewers would win their 20th compared to no losses when Greinke is on the mound. Here's Gonzalez, first and third, nobody out. Lyon deals him strike 1. Again, the record is 24, set by Johan Santana, pitching for the Minnesota Twins. So
that's amazing, isn't it? Isn't that something? 24. Wow.
Something about Miller Park for Zach Greinke. Not even Santana had the splits like Zach Greinke did. That gets away from Castro, and Hart will score. To the screen it goes. 6-2 Brewers.
Well, Lyon having a tough time commanding, isn't he? Well, that pitch down and away, and that's probably one that Castro should have been able to get a glove on. He was Setting up away. He reached for it. That might go down as a pass ball.
Yeah, certainly a play he should have made. So now a runner at second. A run is in. 6-2 Brewers with Gonzalez in a 1-1 count. 1-2 now. That'll go as a wild pitch, which makes the run earned for Lyon. There's a wave and a miss. Gonzalez a little over anxious. Chased the breaking ball twice. Down he goes for out number 1. Time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Greinke, his best fastball tonight was 95. Harrell at 93. His breaking ball was spotty, but there were times he was able to just lock right in and spot the fastball well.
Almost like when he had to, he was able to get the job done. The Astros, we mentioned, stranded 8. They were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. One of the only runs that came in, other than the home run, was a bases loaded walk.
Greinke's spot in the batting order is due up next. Nigel Morgan is already there. Jonathan Lucroy with 1 gone and a runner at second base. Lyon delivers and Lucroy takes a strike. Keeping an eye on the Cardinals and the Cubs tonight. St. Louis still has the lead 2-1. They've got a tight one going at Wrigley. It's in the top of the 8th inning. 2-1 Cardinals in the St. Louis 8th. Lucroy lines one to left field, a base hit. And Gamble will hold around third. He got a late start, had to freeze on the line drive. Lucroy has 2 hits tonight.
And both of them coming on off-speed pitches, and Luke able to wait back and hit it hard into left field. Ed Cedar was thinking about sending Gamble. If there was any bobble at all out there and left by Martinez, he would have sent him. And Luke able to square up on that one and drive it into left. As you mentioned, Gamble got a bit of a late break, had to make sure that ball was getting into left field.
Well, here comes Nigel Morgan. This will be a big spot for him. And if he delivers that run from third base, you can bet he'll get a big ovation here. These fans are pulling for him to break out of this slump. Nigel Morgan said it's the worst slump of his life. His amateur or professional baseball career. He's never been through anything like this. He's at 5 hits in his first 42 at-bats.
He's been able to make contact, but just not consistently able to hit the ball hard. And it seems as though every time he does, it's right at somebody.
I love his comment today talking about his frustrations. He goes, yes, I'm frustrated, but my goal is to make sure that my teammates don't feel that frustration. I don't pass it along. And that's all you can do. There's a lot of guys, you get wrapped up in your own misery if you're struggling at the plate or on the mound, and kind of hard to be around. Not Morgan.
Nigel always had a good attitude in that regard. I mean, he's a guy that picks you up. He doesn't want to be the guy that drags you down. He doesn't want to be that kind of a player that sucks the energy out of you.
Well, Renicky just raves about him.
And sometimes that's really difficult when you're having a tough time at the plate and your team's not playing that well.
A lot of sign looking by Morgan. Ed Cedar went through a number of signs in the third base box. Infield is in, first and third with 1 out. And the runner first goes. Morgan is hit by a pitch. So with Lucroy on the move, Nigel Morgan is drilled. And the bases are loaded for Ricky Weeks.
Nigel didn't even have a chance to get out of the way of this. Look out. Just turns the back and right on the back of the leg. That's not going to hurt very long. This could be the knockout punch tonight right here.
That's it. You're right.
Brewers have been waiting for something like that. They got one a couple of nights ago against the Rockies with that Gonzalez 3-run homer.
Ricky Weeks, bases loaded. 1 out in a 6-2 Brewers lead. Boy, almost threw it away. That was some kind of catch by the catcher, Castro. Like a first baseman right there. He just barely got that one in the webbing.
Lyon missing by a lot. He's thrown a number of pitches in this inning that haven't even been close.
Here comes a 1-0 and a strike from Lyon. Not sure if he got him on the swing or the pitch. Either way, it's 1-1 to Ricky Weeks. Gamble at third base. He's singled. Lucroy had a single, and then Nigel Morgan hit by a pitch. And a pinch hitting role for Zach Greinke. Greinke's out after 6 innings, allowing just 2 runs. Weeks cuts through another one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Weeks has never had a grand slam. With all of that power. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes.
Lyon threw some 2 pretty good pitches to get ahead 1 and 2, but that was a hanger right there, that slider. Oh, and Ricky's dialed in. He's going to be waiting back. He'll just crush that ball in the right center.
It has been a battle here for Lyon. This is pitch number 22 coming. Still just 1 out. Astros are looking for a double play here to get him out of the inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Weeks, little flare, long run Lee, and a basket over the shoulder catch. Tagging is Gamble to throw, and Gamble plows over Castro. And out is the call. A violent collision at home plate. Tip your hat to Jason Castro. Hangs on to the baseball. The inning is over. A great catch by Carlos Lee. And let's hope Castro is all right. Gamble put a charge into the Houston catcher. 6-2 Brewers moving on to the 7th. Collision at home plate. Hung on to the baseball. 6-2 Brewers as we go to the 7th, and our Toyota game summary. Zach Greinke, 6 innings. He's done for the night. He gives up 2 runs and a season high for strikeouts with 9. Braun's having a good night. 2 hits, including a homer. Driven in a couple of runs. Aramis Ramirez drove in a run in the first as well. Rock, let's take it back to that collision at the plate.
A couple of tough customers, and Castro blocking home plate. And really the only thing that Gamble can do is run him over. It was a clean collision because look at Gamble. He doesn't put the forearm out and get him in the face. Now, you don't want to do that. Watch it. It's going to be shoulder right into Castro's head. And this is where the problem comes in for the Astros catcher, right on the back of the head on the ground. And anytime you're in the position to block home plate and you get a throw in from right field or down that line, you can't see the runner. You really don't know where he is. And as soon as he turned around, there was Gamble. That's a clean play by Matty. And a tough guy behind home plate.
Yeah, you bet. Castro able to hang on to that baseball. So here we go to the 7th inning now. 6-2. The Brewers had the bases loaded and 1 out and could not add to their lead. Jose Veras takes over in the 7th.
Veras got yesterday off before, after pitching back-to-back days. So a well-deserved day off for Veras.
Jed Lowry with a base hit greets him rudely here in the 7th inning.
And the only thing catchers really don't appreciate on a collision like that is when you come in with the forearms. You put the forearms up and you go right into the head. That's a little dicey. You start doing that. I mean, but Matt Gamble did not do that. Anytime a catcher has an intent of blocking the plate, you have to be ready for contact like that. And it looked to me as though Castro was.
Every time you see that play and you say, okay, well, there's an opportunity at a feet first slide there. But remember, the catcher, he's feeling a collision coming. He's clinching up. But I always think about the J.J. Hardy play at home plate when he came in feet first, broke his ankle, cost him the season. And that's, there's a lot of risk for the base runner as well. It's not just the catcher who is at risk there.
But anytime you see a catcher blocking home plate, standing right in front of it, you really don't have much of a choice. I mean, catchers have a choice. You can be in front of the plate and do a sweep tag, at which point you're probably going to see a slide. But if you block home plate and you take away home plate from the side of the base runner, you better be ready to take a lick. And he did.
And that's the scariest play for a catcher. I mean, that ball is coming from foul territory.
Can't see him.
On
Can't
the right
see the
side.
runner at all.
Yeah, you have no vision of where that runner is.
He turned around and there he was. He held on to it. Tough kid.
What was the worst collision you were ever involved in?
In college.
Yeah?
It was in college, yeah, at Clemson. Got run over by a guy named, I'll never forget his name, Jeff Pyburn. He was a quarterback for the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
Big dude. And he cleaned my clock. He was out, though.
And so were you.
But I was on the on-deck circle. I didn't even remember where I was.
Just rolled you over.
Yeah, that was the end of that.
You're a big guy, too.
And it was a similar situation. The throw was coming in from the right field line. It was like on a double, and Pyburn's at first base. He comes all the way around. As soon as I turned around, bingo, lights were out. That was it. And that was back in the days where you threw the mask off.
Yeah, you didn't need it.
Yeah,
you had your face in front of you.
Yeah, I did. Answers a lot of questions as to how I look. And that wasn't the only collision like that.
Well, that one did not miss by much. Veras wanted the call there. Instead, it goes to 3-2.
Man, that didn't miss by much, if at all. I'm not sure about that.
The comeback sinker. Full count. J.D. Martinez with Lowry over at first base. And he went. Down he goes. He got him with a breaking ball. J.D. Martinez is going on strikes. Second time he's punched out in this game.
I tried to check his swing, just couldn't do it. It looked a lot like that check swing on the perfect game the other day.
Never did see a side swing of that. But it looked like he went.
But we got one here.
Yes. That's what Woody's for down there. Carlos Lee with the runner at first. I remember a pretty violent collision between the Brewers and the Astros at Minute Maid Park a few years back. Mike Cameron, the retired Mike Cameron, and he ran over Humberto Quintero, the Astros catcher.
Yeah, Prince always enjoyed contact, whether it was a catcher or first baseman.
Yeah, he knocked out a catcher, I believe. Was that Todd Green?
Todd Green,
Yeah.
Colorado, right? Was it Colorado?
That was before my time. Maybe in the Giants. Not sure.
Maybe.
It's a vulnerable spot to be in, a catcher. Lee in the left, well hit, and it is off the wall. Lowry on his way to third. He'll stop there, and Lee being held to a single. What a play by Braun. Playing it off the wall, then a great throw, and it scares Lee back to first base.
No, there's no excuse. Carlos Lee's got to be at second. He didn't run very hard. He thought it was out of the ballpark. He just stands there, watches it, kind of trickles out of the batter's box, and he thinks it's a home run. And what that does, it keeps that double play alive for Milwaukee. No excuse to be at first base on that. But a good job by Ryan to throw into second base.
Here where the ball hit the wall as he was not yet at first base. Well, Veras, chance to get a ground ball here and get out of this inning. Not that the Astros need extra motivation, but you can bet after a collision like that, they would love nothing more than to fight their way back in this game. Brian Bogusevic. Veras has come on. He's given up 2 hits. Has a strikeout. Brewers pitchers Greinke and Veras have racked up 10 Ks thus far as we play in the 7th.
Having a tough time getting that slider to go where he wants it. And because of that, the Astro hitters are sitting back waiting for strikes with the fastball. All the base hits have come on the heater.
Well, Bogusevic was taking a shot at instant offense.
95 on that last fastball. That was a good pitch. That's about where he tops out at right there.
That location so important. Veras kept that down and away. Bogusevic cuts and misses. 2-2 now. Bogusevic does have a homer this year. He drove in a run, if you call it that, on a walk in the 5th inning. An RBI the easy way. That one's ripped, and that is fair into the corner. A run will score. Lowry. Lee's on his way to third, and he's going to try to score. And the throw is cut off. Weeks' throw is late. Lee scores. That'll be a triple. And 2 RBIs for Brian Bogusevic. And the Astros are right back in it.
After blowing a fastball right by him, he tried to get a slider in there, and he hung it. Watch Bogusevic waiting back on his slider, and it was in. And he rips it down the right field line. And Carlos Lee, all the way from first base, makes it a 2-run game. That slider's giving him trouble tonight.
Well, the Astros are going to bring the tying run to the plate in a home run hitter in Chris Johnson now. On the 2 RBI double by Bogusevic. He's driven in 3 of the 4 Astros runs tonight. Milwaukee has had their chances to put this game away. The Astros have come back. There's a hanging breaking ball. Lucky to have that one back. Second triple for Bogusevic to go along with a home run. Chris Johnson has struck out 3 times tonight. And a base hit, and it's a 1-run game. The Astros come roaring back here in the 7th inning. RBI single. 6-5 Milwaukee.
Well, Johnson able to get a fastball. It was up, and he rips it right back through the middle. Veras started with a slider, he missed, and Johnson pretty much knew, guaranteed, he was going to get a fastball. He got it, and he hit it hard.
Rick Kranitz chatting with Lucroy and Veras. Got Jason Castro at the plate. On the receiving end of that big collision, and good news is that he is still able to stay in this game. Well, you know, he'd love nothing more than deliver a big shot here against Milwaukee. The Brewers had the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Could not score. And now the Astros have put 3 on the board. It's 6-5. Veras in a battle here, needs a ground ball.
Astros have been tough outs tonight, even for Zach Greinke. Zach only had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. Astros have had men all over the bases all night tonight.
Astros have 12 hits, 4 in this inning. Greinke wins 6, gave up 2 runs. Veras has given up 3 on 4 hits. A double by Bogusevic drove in a pair, and Johnson made it a 1-run game. 2 balls and no strikes. Boy, Veras really fighting it on the mound. Doesn't look himself.
And just now, Manny Parra getting up and loose in that Brewers bullpen.
Ready for a 2-0 to Castro. 3 balls and no strikes. And Kranitz with the SOS to the bullpen. Can he come all the way back? Lost him on 4 straight. And a nightmare inning continues here for Jose Veras.
It all started with Jose not able to command the slider. He couldn't put that pitch where he wanted to, and now he's having a tough time with the fastball.
McClendon joins Parra. Those two trying to get ready as fast as they can. Remember, Kranitz has already gone to the mound, so there's already been 1 visit to the mound. And a good hitter coming up in Jose Altuve. Loves that first pitch. And a breaking ball missed. Altuve has 2 hits tonight, also a stolen base. Boy, can't throw a strike. 2-0. And now Renicky sends Aramis Ramirez and Jonathan Lucroy to the mound. Brewers need to buy some time to get to the bullpen.
And you wonder, once this meeting is over, if Renicky's going to go out there and go get him. You got your choice of McClendon now or Manny Parra. I think they're both going to be ready.
So So Veras behind 2-0. And there's a strike. Now Veras is a ground ball perhaps from getting out of this inning with a double play. But the Astros are a base hit away from tying this game. And the go-ahead runner's at first. Strike two. Now he's back in a better position here to battle the hitter. Big pitch coming up. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jose Altuve. And a breaking ball called strike 3. A dandy.
I tell you, after that 2-0 count, Veras threw his 3 best pitches of the inning, including that slider. Well, he hadn't given up on the slider. Good call by Lucroy. And he threw it right down the middle. And Altuve, with the tying run at second base, he takes 3 right down the middle.
Out number 2, Veras makes a big pitch. Still has one more piece to the puzzle here in the 7th, though. 2 outs. It'll be Matt Downs pinch hitting for Houston. Batting in the pitcher spot. Got the left-hander Jordan Schaefer on deck. The Astros leadoff hitter. This will certainly be Veras' last hitter, regardless of what happens. Brewers clinging to a 6-5 lead. Downs takes a strike. There's the breaking ball again.
Yeah, back to back. He's not giving up on it.
Downs has yet to post a hit coming off the bench for Brad Mills this year. He's 0 for 7. Lucroy, a nice block. 2-1.
I really don't remember Jose Veras relying so much on his slider in his previous appearance. He's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Throwing nothing but sliders lately.
Downs has only seen him once. The 2-1, and there's strike 2. There's the fastball you're looking for.
At 95 on the corner.
Three runs are in for the Astros. They've made it a 1-run game. Renicky showing a lot of confidence in Jose Veras. Can he make one more pitch? The 2-2. Bouncing ball. Ramirez picks it up. Throw to first in time. Inning over. And a wipe of the brow for Brewers fans. The Astros score 3 on 4 hits. It's a brand new ball game. 6-5 Milwaukee. Nice play of Ramirez to end it.
close for comfort. 6-5 the Brewers as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Time now for our social media through Twitter. Of course, you can find us with our handle at FS Wisconsin. And tonight's question comes from Tucker, and it's a pretty good one, really. You got to go back in the history of time and to where this came from. How come the abbreviation for a strikeout being K? Where did that come from, Rob?
Put you on the spot.
That was a way to record, a strikeout. They had an S slated for sacrifice, so they couldn't use that. It became a K after the last letter of the word struck. The reason the strikeout isn't a T is because struck was the preferred term of the day.
That's it. That's basically the modern scoring system that we still use. It was started by a couple of sports writers. I think Henry Chadwick is the one who gets credit for that. There's Rainer Cruz in the game for the Astros, facing Nori Aoki as we head to the bottom of the 7th. And then it was advanced, a forwards K for a swinging strike 3 and a backwards K for a called strike 3. There are a lot of Ks on the board for Brewer pitching tonight. Zach Greinke struck out 9. Jose Veras had 2.
I want to thank you for your help there, because I was getting some information on the pitcher for the Astros. Forgive me.
I thought you did a fine job. Norichika Aoki leading off. And there's strike 2. Boy, Rock, it is a game again. The Brewers, it's amazing the difference in an inning. They're sitting there in the bottom of the 6th inning with a run in, and the bases loaded and 1 out, and the top of the order.
Yep, knockout punch could have been provided by the Brewers in that inning, but did not. Ended up finishing the inning with a double play.
Aoki strikes out. Good pitch from Cruz. Off speed gets him. Don't see Aoki strike out very often. Well, Ryan Braun, he has tacked another one on. The Powerball home run count, number 3. Joins Alex Gonzalez, George Gontaras. Ryan Braun has 2 hits and 2 RBIs tonight. He hit a missile in the 5th inning. When that ball left the bat, you weren't sure if it was going to be high enough to clear the fence.
Yeah, a lot of times when a guy hits a ball like that hard, it's got top spin, and it's going to kind of sink as it gets to the wall. But that, the way Ryan's able to get that downward angle with the bat, he gets a backspin, and that ball just kept rising as it got out of there. And not many guys, are able to do that.
Braun batting with the bases empty. It's Rainer Cruz. And it's quickly 0-2.
And Cruz's first year in the big leagues. He spent a lot of time with the Mets. 6'2", 205 pounds, out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
Anytime you think of a Cruz in an Astros uniform, you think of Jose Cruz. And those chants at the Astrodome.
Right.
Cruz. Braun looking for a mistake here with 2 strikes. And he gets one, drives it into the gap right center. That is down for a hit. Braun on his way to second, and he's in there with a stand-up double. Have a night, Ryan Braun.
Man, he's getting hot, isn't he? And you see Ryan able to take that pitch and drive it into the gap in right center. As deep as they play him, he hit that ball extremely hard and able to find some turf. There it is, up and in. A lot of guys are going to try and pull that baseball, but Ryan pulls the hands in and gets the barrel of the bat on it, and it just drives it into right field. Everybody makes contact about right even with the plate, exactly where you want to make contact when you're taking the ball to the opposite field.
Well, Braun is a triple away from the cycle tonight. He's in scoring position for Ramos Ramirez. A bouncing ball to short. Lowry for out number 2.
Ordinarily, you're going to say if he hits the ball to right field, it's got to be back in here a little bit. But remember, that ball was a little bit in on Ryan in this situation right here. So that's why he had to make contact right on the front of the plate. So a lot of times the location of the pitch will determine where you have to make contact in order to drive the ball.
Well, 2 gone now. Braun at second. It's a big run to deliver for Corey Hart. 6-5 Brewers, bottom of the 7th inning. Corey Hart at the plate, presented by Wendy's. And a triple and a run scored in the 4th inning. Drove in a run in the 1st on a sac fly. And then he walked and scored in the 6th. Off the end of the bat. And Cruz races Hart to the bag in time. Inning over. So the Brewers strand a runner at second. They'll turn it over to the dynamic duo. K-Rod first up, then Axford. 6-5 Milwaukee.
And the Brewers, and out to Miller Park we go for a pleasant afternoon. We'll look for a couple of clouds in place. First pitch temperature 55 degrees. Game starts at 7:10. We start our broadcast at 6:30 p.m.
All right, Justin, thanks. And that'll be the 8th game of this 9-game homestand. The Brewers are wrapping this up on Wednesday. Miller Lite, what's on tap? Milwaukee will take Thursday off, and then Friday heading to St. Louis. That starts a trip that'll go through St. Louis, San Diego, San Francisco. It's going to be a tough West Coast trip, starting in St. Louis and then to the West Coast. 6:30 tomorrow for Brewers Live. No TV on Wednesday. Catch the Brewers Radio Network for that one. Frankie Rodriguez, K-Rod, is on the mound.
Yeah, took his 2nd loss of the season yesterday against the Rockies. Gave up a couple of runs in an inning of work. Well, he earned his first save as a Brewer. Back on the 10th against the Cubs.
And a chance at a little redemption here for Francisco Rodriguez. He's given up some runs in 3 of his outings this year. He's given up 2 runs in 3 different outings, including yesterday when Michael Kadire doubled into the left center field gap. He's been good in spots like this, however, throughout his career, whether it be a save situation or a setup role. History is on his side, and as Telly pointed out in our Brewers Live pregame show, the media guy doesn't lie. So back on the horse he goes. Jordan Schaefer, top of the Astros order. I remember when Frankie Rodriguez was traded to the Brewers last year from the Mets. During the All-Star break, I made a phone call to our buddy Ron Darling, who called his games with the New York Mets, and he had the famous line, 20 minutes of terror. And that about describes it.
Yeah.
Typically base runners on for K-Rod. He rarely has a 1-2-3 inning. At least it doesn't seem like it.
And those 20 minutes of terror ordinarily result in saves and getting the job done. Almost 300 saves in his career. And he's had somewhat of a rough start to his season.
2-2 and a swing and a miss. K-Rod strikes out Schaefer.
Yep, the trademark changeup by Rodriguez. I haven't seen too many of those as of late, but there it is. I mean, that's a dandy. A young guy always is going to have a tough time with that changeup. That's a good pitch to a young lineup.
Astros are striking out a bunch in this game. That is 12 now. 9 from Greinke. Veras had 2, and now K-Rod striking out his first batter faced. Jed Lowry. High fly ball, shallow right. Corey Hart is there. And there is out number 2. Well, if you're just picking us up, 8th inning with 2 away. Zach Greinke started this game. He went 6 innings. He labored through 6, but he did strike out a season high 9. And when he left the game, it was 6-2 Milwaukee. Due in large part to the night of Ryan Braun. 3 hits, a home run, a double. He is a triple away from the cycle. Corey Hart drove in a run, had a triple, his first triple of the season.
The thing about Greinke tonight, though, he gave up a lot of hits, but when he needed to really bear down, the Astros were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and they stranded 8 base runners while he was in the game.
JD Martinez. And K-Rod deals a strike on the corner. 1-1. But an Astros rally in the 7th. 3 runs on 4 hits. Made this a 1-run game.
Where'd that miss? I'd like to see that again. Really?
Look, middle.
I guess you're not supposed to throw them right down the middle anymore.
That's a pitch that if it gets hit, you say, well, you just can't throw it there. As Martinez fouls one off his toe.
Shin, then the toe. Yeah. Well, not the shin, right off the instep.
It's the second time an Astro hitter has been hobbled tonight. The first batter of the game, Jordan Schaefer, took one off his shin. Michael Kadire did something very similar in San Diego, and that cost him a game. It actually cost him 2 games for the Colorado Rockies. We'll see if Martinez will be able to return. So Martinez stays. K-Rod with a 2-2 count. 2 outs in the inning. Martinez has some pop. 3 homers this year. Brewers lead by a run. K-Rod set the 2-2. And a fly ball to center. Playable for Aoki. And there's the inning K-Rod was looking for. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-5 Brewers.
Of the 8th inning, and it's time to take a look at our Marshfield Clinic shining moment as we get ready for Brewers Live postgame. Brewer pitching tonight, absolutely outstanding, especially via the strikeout. Greinke, the starter, 9 on his own, Jerry.
Yeah, getting themselves a little bit of trouble, but being able to go and make those big pitches. That's what the Brewers like to do. They get the guys on base. When you got the guy with the good stuff, he can locate that pitch real well. Exactly what Zach Greinke did tonight.
Even in relief, the Brewer pitcher's doing the job. Barris out of a tough jam he got himself into. And K-Rod, a nice bounce back in his performance in the 8th inning as well. We'll explore all of those subjects and plenty more. I tried to get Augie to talk maybe about hitting tonight, but he insisted on the pitching. But that's okay. We'll cover it all in Brewers Live postgame, guys.
All right, Craig and Augie, thank you. Looking forward to that. Bottom of the 8th inning, Matt Gamble leads off against Cruz. Now, believe it or not, the Brewers are in search of their first victory by a starting pitcher since the Gallardo win at Wrigley Field in Chicago. That was back on the 11th of April.
Wait, when was the last time John Axford had a save opportunity? It's been a while.
Axford with 2 saves. Rodriguez has the other. The Brewers have just 3 on the year. Greinke still in line for the victory, but the Astros are knocking at the door. Down a run here in the bottom of the 8th as Gamble fouls it away. Ho-Chunk Gaming text question from Stanley De Pere. He wants to know, are there any rules regarding a runner going into a base or home plate? Gamble was part of that collision with Jason Castro.
Well, first of all, I mean, fielders around the other bases cannot block the plate or block the base. You just can't do that. Plus, if you run over a fielder at a base and you go by the base, you're out if he tags you. That's why you don't see a whole lot of that. Those 2 reasons. By the letter of the rules, the catcher is not allowed to block home plate unless he has the ball in his hand, but that's very rarely called. You'll see a lot of times a guy will set up, they'll make contact, and the ball will be very soon after. You don't see that called very much, if ever.
Alex Gonzalez with 1 out after the Gamble strikeout, and there's a strike. Cruz has some good stuff. Got a sharp breaking ball that has buckled the knees of a few hitters. We'll see where this game ends up. If the Astros come back to win this game, that will certainly be a turning point. That collision we showed you at home plate, that was a double play that ended the inning. The Brewers had the bases loaded, a 4-run lead, and Ricky Weeks at the plate with 1 out. It was a pop-up, a great catch by Lee, and then he made a perfect throw to the plate. Castro took the blow from Gamble. That ended the inning. The Astros came back and scored 3.
Yep, and lives to tell about it. He's a tough kid behind home plate. Man, that guy's pretty tough as well.
0-2 to Gonzalez. Almost hit him. There's John Axford. You mentioned that April 11th game when Gallardo got the win, the last starting pitcher to win a game. Axford saved Gallardo's win that night, and that's the last save opportunity for the Axemen.
And it will be the first here at Miller Park this year.
His 2 saves came in Chicago, April 9th and April 11th. Two and 2 the count. Gonzalez down the line. Nice play at third base by Johnson. And the throw up the line. Gonzalez is out. Excellent play by Chris Johnson at third. 2 outs.
Gonzalez able to get the bat head out on that fastball in, but a nice play by Johnson, who was guarding the line. And a good strong throw to first base. A couple of steps down the line, and he's able to haul it in. Got a good throwing arm.
So Johnson takes away extra bases from Gonzalez. 2 outs now. Here is Lucroy. If Lucroy should reach, George Kataris will hit next. He's in the on-deck circle. Cardinals Cubs going to the bottom of the 9th now at Wrigley. 2-1. The Cardinals still lead. Jason Mott in to try to close it out. St. Louis looking for their 12th win already.
The Cubs have something going in the bottom of the 9th.
2-0 on Lucroy. 2-1 as he fouls it off. Lucroy talking to himself a little bit. Looking ahead to the Houston 9th inning. Carlos Lee leads off. Brian Bogasevic and Chris Johnson. Wow, a slingshot in there from Cruz. That just made my elbow hurt.
He's got a live arm, 96 miles per hour, and he's got a pretty good slider to go with it.
Good crowd tonight, over 36,000. Hoping the Brewers can hang on to beat the Astros. There's ball 4 and a base runner. Lucroy draws the walk. A 2-out walk, and here is George Kataris. He could bring you some instant offense. Kataris will hit for K-Rod. George has done most of his damage as a pinch hitter this year. He's driven in 8 runs overall. 5 of those RBIs have come as a pinch hitter. And Brad Mills is going to make the call to the bullpen. So Cruz is out. And the left-hander Wesley Wright is coming in. So a pitching change at Miller Park. With Kataris coming up. 6-5 Brewers, bottom of the 8th. We'll take a break. Bring on their left-hander Wesley Wright to face the left-handed hitting George Kataris. And the numbers on Wright this year, it's been a struggle for him. 8th appearance. 6-5 Milwaukee as Kataris tries to add to it.
Well, all those numbers apparently against right-handed batters, because lefties are 0 for 10 against them this year. That's his job. The only left-hander in Brad Mills' bullpen.
Now the Cubs have come back. Joe Mather with a 2 RBI single, a game-winning hit for Chicago. They beat the Cardinals. Jason Mata blown save.
That was a good pitcher's duel. Jaime Garcia and Matt Garza.
That one has just gone final. Big cut and a miss. George Kataris. Phillies and the Diamondbacks are in the 6th inning. The Diamondbacks lead 8-0. That's a scary offense as well, Arizona.
Yeah.
How about Philadelphia at 7-9? Sluggish start, just like the Brewers.
Well, they got Cliff Lee on the disabled list. They're without their first baseman and second baseman. That's a lot of offense out of that lineup.
Two and one on Kataris. Giants and the Mets played a doubleheader today. Giants beat the Mets 6-1 in the opener and 7-2. So a sweep of a doubleheader for San Francisco. 2-1, and that one misses. 3 balls and a strike on Kataris. That's the other part of his game. He's got a lot of power. He's a good hitter, but he's very selective getting his one at bat a night when he doesn't catch.
Yeah, I think a .550 on base percentage is good. That's where he's at right now to go with a .400 batting average. So yeah, he draws his walks.
And a slugging percentage over 1,000. If my math is correct, that is an OPS over 1,500. That would be a record. Now it's a full count, which means Lucroy will get a head start at first. 6-5 Brewers. Lucroy takes off and Kataris fouls it away. George comes in hitting .400, 6 for 15. 3 of those 6 hits home runs. Luke takes off again. There is ball 4. Another great at bat by Kataris. So back-to-back walks.
Now that's probably going to be it for Wesley Wright. And here comes Brad Mills.
Right to face the left-hander, walks him. And here comes Todd Coffey. Wilton Lopez will pitch for Houston. Working up a lather. We'll take a timeout. Lopez with 2 on and 2 out. 6-5. The Brewers lead the Astros.
Off to a very good start is Wilton Lopez. This will be now 4 appearances in the last 5 days for Lopez. Has not walked a batter in 10 1/3 innings.
Well, tonight, Ricky Weeks is 0 for 4. And strike 1 to Weeks. Now, Ricky was at the plate with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. He hit that foul pop, which was a nice catch by Lee over the shoulder. And then Lee fired to home plate to get Gamble in that collision. So far, the Brewers have been able to hold serve. Veras pitched out of a mess in the 7th inning, giving up 3 runs, but not giving up the lead. K-Rod worked a perfect 8th. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. And the stage is set now for John Axford as Weeks sends one high and deep to center, but playable. The inning is over. And it is the Axeman on the way. For the first time this year, the Axeman with a chance at a save at Miller Park.
Running out once the gate opens, you know, I always take a few steps onto the dirt, and once the grass, once my cleats touch the grass, I make sure I get in my trot and run out there. It's just part of my routine. I always like to try and take in as much as I can before I have to just focus in on the glove, and I absolutely love hearing the crowd go crazy. I like hearing the yells, the screams, the chants. It's just great running out there on the mound each and every single day. You know, it doesn't matter if it's at home or away. If the team's rooting against me, I always want to shut them up. That's, I think, my biggest thing when I'm on the road. When we're at home, I want the crowd to get even louder and even crazier. So, you know, when 45,000 people are screaming, I want them to keep screaming by the end of the game.
And the words of John Axford as he is introduced here, facing Carlos Lee in the 9th inning, his first save opportunity at Miller Park this year. 2 saves on the season. Axford has not had a save chance since the 11th of April. As we mentioned a couple of innings ago, that was the last time a Brewers starter won a game. As Gallardo, Greinke is in that spot tonight if Axford can get to the finish line here in the 9th. Carlos Lee starts it. Astros are down a run. Lee has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 4. Scored a run in that 3-run 7th that brought the Astros back.
Well, John last pitched on Friday against the Rockies. He took the loss. He gave up a run in an inning of work. He came in a tie game in the 9th.
And a line drive to center, a base hit. Carlos Lee with his 3rd hit of the ball game, and not a good start for Axford here in the 9th inning. Axford has the longest active streak for consecutive saves, and it's 5th all time. 45 in a row for Axford going back to last season. Gagne's record may never be approached again.
His save percentage only second to Jose Valverde in active major leaguers, 93.5%. Not a bad save ratio.
Marwin Gonzalez will pinch run for Lee. That Valverde streak was snapped on opening day this year. That streak of 51 saves. Here's Brian Bogusevic. In Axford's 2 saves, he's given up 1 hit in each of those save opportunities. Looking for a ground ball to turn 2. The Astros have the go-ahead run at the plate. Mighty cut from Bogusevic.
After the equalizer, the curveball. Got ahead with a fastball, then dropped this baby on him, and not even close.
Bogusevic had the big hit for the Astros that turned it into a ball game again. He drove in 2 runs with a double in the 7th and has 3 RBIs tonight.
Always have to be aware of the stolen base with Axford out on the mound. He takes a while to get rid of it. Gonzalez, decent speed. He's an infielder.
Strike called. Axford rings the bell as Bogusevic is down on a backwards K for out number 1.
I didn't like the call too much, but that pitch right on the inside corner, and Andy Fletcher, who's had some issues tonight with pitchers and hitters alike, rings it up.
So that is strikeout number 13 for Brewer pitching in this game, which is a season high, ties a season high. They had 13 Ks against the Rockies the other night. Axford against Chris Johnson. Here's a dangerous bat. Johnson had an RBI single off Veras in the 7th, and that made it a 1-run game. Probably has the most power of any of the Astros. Astros aren't hitting a lot of home runs, but Johnson certainly has that kind of pop, but he is without a home run this year. But like so many of the other Astro hitters, Rock, you just don't know. These are all young guys.
Yeah.
There's not much of a book. Johnson came to the big leagues, hit 11 home runs his first season.
Well, what you don't want to do is hang a breaking ball to this guy. I mean, you get a fastball hard on his hands, and that curveball down in the zone, I think you're going to be all right.
Strike on a breaking ball. 1-2 the count on Johnson. Well, Axford would love to get a ground ball here, turn 2, and end this game. Houston has put up a big fight, but still down a run. The 1-2 just missed. Tantalizingly close.
Good take.
It was either a good take or he was completely fooled. What does Axford counter with? Gonzalez at first. He's the tying run. And another curveball. Full count now to Johnson. Axford trying to stay away from Chris Johnson. Stay away from his power. Does he snap off another curveball here? 3-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with the high heat. 97 miles per hour. Back-to-back Ks for the Axeman.
Now the first strike and the last strike were fastballs, and in between nothing but breaking pitches. And Johnson chases ball 4.
Two outs. And the Astros are down to their last out. And the man on the receiving end of that big collision, Jason Castro, steps in. 6-5 Brewers. 9th inning. He got one right down the middle. Castro cut right through it. Run at first. Go ahead run at the plate. And it's 1-1 on Castro. That single for Castro came back in the 2nd inning. One and two on the Astros catcher.
They're just reaching back and throwing it right by him. Bounce your curveball and good celebrate.
Astros down to their last strike. Here's the 1-2 and a swing and a miss. Ball game over. John Axford, his 3rd save, and the Brewers hang on to win tonight. 6-5 the final score. Greinke the winner. Axford picks up the save. And the Brewers go to 8-9 for the season. They win the opener of this 3-game series against Houston. Much more still to come on this one. Craig Kashawn, what do you have coming up on Brewers Live?
Well, great start, no question about that. A lot of good balance on that offense. Outstanding pitching. Brewers win it. Good way to start the 3-game series against the Astros. We'll hear from the Brewer Club when we come back.